What's the kingdom of God like? It's like he's like an employer who not only seeks us out, but searches us out with abundance, generosity, and grace. Remember, at about 5 p.m, he went out and found still more others standing around waiting for work. And at the end of the day, he gives them a full day's wage. Think about how those workers felt when they got a day's wage, right? Because you had been out there like at 5:30 in the morning hoping to get a job. And you see at 6, the first group of people peel out, the stronger people, the people who had better tools and better skills. And by 9, you'd seen kind of the second stringers peel out and leave. And by noon, people have given up, they're headed home. But you're thinking, I cannot face going home with nothing again for my wife and for my children. I can't face the thought of just sitting there all day. And so you wait. And at 3 o'clock, other people get chosen and you still don't. And at 5 o'clock, an hour before the bell rings and time is over, somebody calls on you and you go and you're just hoping, man, if I could just bring a sliver of something home, a small handful of grain, something to show I have value, worth, and I was able to contribute. And somebody gives you a full day's wage. Like you've been working since 6 a.m, but you didn't start till 5 and you got it all, right? This is what God is like. Jesus says. He's the kind of God who finds you when you despair and you feel hopeless and you feel like you have nothing to give or offer, and goes, I'm going to give you everything that the people who worked really hard and all day are receiving. Don't worry. My generosity is so far more abundant than you could ask or imagine. You could have it all. For us, I think this challenges the deep embedded sense of meritocracy, an effort that we've deeply imbibed of, both as a church here in the United States and as part of a faith tradition that goes back centuries, right? We belong to a church tradition that says very clearly, we believe you're saved by grace alone. There's nothing you can do to contribute to your salvation. Jesus did everything, but now that you belong to him, could you try a little harder? Could you work a little harder at being nicer and kinder? Maybe, like don't be embarrassing on Facebook. Can you be a little holier, right? Like Jesus may have done everything, but work for it a little bit more now that you're in, right? And that's part of kind of how American culture is, isn't it? We love the stories of people who started really poor but work by sheer dint of effort and being really independent and managing their money while they do really well over time, right? It's the Horatio Alger myth. It's the story. It's why Hamilton is such, right? He's young, scrappy, and hungry, and he's not going to throw away his shot, and he's going to do really well, right? We love those kind of things. We do that in our spiritual lives. If I pray and if I'm really holy, God's going to take care of my kids and give me a parking space. Or when I walk down into the subway, the train will pull in right as I walk down and the doors will open. And God bless, it's an empty car where the air condition works. Okay, I'm just totally projecting my fantasies right now. I'll stop. We do it in the face of national tragedies, right? When a young black man is killed, the immediate gut response is, well, I'd like to show why he was an honor student and doing real well. As if somebody who is an honor student and doing real well has more value than somebody who wasn't. We do it with the immigration debate, right? The constant debate right now in our country is immigrants. Do they take or do they give to the country? In fact, I saw on Twitter just the other day, Tucker Carlson, I don't really know who this is. Yeah, I think he's at Fox News, but he asked the question, why does America benefit from having tons of people from failing countries come here? Right? And I loved and I thought was really profound the next statement from the next tweeter. We don't, and I'm sick and tired of it. It really pisses me off that refugees and illegals get more assistance than vets and U.S. citizens. Right? Tucker Carlson's tweet was tweeted just under 4,000 times. When I saw it, it was 11,000 times it was retweeted by This Morning, which means millions of people. And it reflects millions of people in the country. Now, whatever you think about it, it presupposes a particular kind of value system, right? If you've contributed a lot, you deserve a lot. If you bring value, you're valuable. If you work hard, you're worthy. And into that system, Jesus says, the kingdom of God is like this. It's like a system where somebody who comes in at 5 p.m. is given what they need for the day. the same amount that somebody who came in at 6 a.m., 11 hours earlier. What would it look like if our story as a congregation, as a people, and in the spheres of influence that we have, was an economy of generosity and grace rather than merely what you earn and what you deserve? That the goal wasn't fairness, but generosity. Right? Wasn't just equity, but was grace. Because I have to say, as I think about it in my own life, I don't really want fairness from God. I want grace. Right? I don't want what I deserve. I want generosity from God. Right? As I receive from people, I don't want to be given what I'm due. I would actually like a little bit more than I'm due. I'm that selfish. What would it look like how would that change the conversations around race and around class and around education and immigration and other